From the Detroit Free Press, it's Friday, November 12th. Here are today's top stories, presented by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Bush's has over 4,000 Michigan products, including the freshest fruit and vegetables, meat, seafood, and baked goods. Stop by one of Bush's 16 locations for the personal service you expect from your neighborhood grocer.
My name is Kerry Jr. II. I'm a podcast producer and reporter with the Detroit Free Press, and now the host of Freep's new weekly podcast, On the Line. Our job is to understand the issues and the people that the issues affect in our state and region and tell the news. I want Detroiters, I want Michiganders, I want Metro Detroiters to hear themselves and maybe get a sense of peace in this podcast. Maybe not in the topics we're covering, but in the sense that we're the Detroit Free Press. And you can come here to know what's happening and trust that we're going to tell the truth, give you the facts, and do it authentically. We're going to give you the voices that are in those areas, whether it be in Owasso, whether it be in Petoskey, or whether it be in Birmingham, Warren, Grosse Pointe, Southwest Detroit. We're going to give you what it sounds like to be there. So every Friday in your feed, wherever you get your podcast, when you press play, we want this podcast to sound like home. We want it to sound like Michigan. We want it to sound like Detroit. And I think that's all I got. So let the journey begin.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kristen Seamus with a story for the believers among us. It's about Nolan Ostrowski, a 52-year-old carpenter from Eaton Rapids who was hospitalized in July with COVID-19. While he lay in his Lansing hospital bed, Ostrowski said he saw the legs and brown robe of a man nearby and felt immediate calm. He thought it was a guardian angel. The next night, the brown-robed figure visited him again. This time, Ostrowski could fully see him. The man sat perfectly still, and Ostrowski prayed for his healing. But it wasn't until he told the man that he'd never take the Lord's name in vain again that the man stood up, came to his bedside, and touched him on the arm and rib cage. Ostrowski said it comforted him. He soon discovered that his relatives had been praying to the Blessed Solanus Casey, asking for intercession on his behalf. Casey was a Detroit Capuchin priest who died in 1957, but was said to have healed the sick. He was beatified in 2017 after the Pope declared the healing of a woman from Panama a miracle. Ostrowski reported his experience to the Catholic Church, which investigated. The Church doesn't consider what happened to him to be a miracle because there is some medical explanation for his recovery. But his story will be included in Casey's file as supporters continue to seek sainthood for the Blessed Father. To read the story, go to freep.com.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department, checking in on the Detroit Pistons. The NBA world was buzzing Thursday after Cade Cunningham, the number 1 pick in last year's draft, and the Pistons took down Jalen Green, the number 2 pick in the draft, and the Houston Rockets on Wednesday night, 112-104. Cunningham had 20 points in just his 5th career game after missing basically all of training camp and the first 2 weeks of the season with an ankle injury. And if Cade is tired of the comparisons now, well, he better get ready for tonight's game as the Pistons visit Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. Dan Gilbert's bunch features Evan Mobley, the 3rd pick in last summer's draft, who may be the super early favorite for Rookie of the Year. And while Mobley's playmaking on offense and defense as a 7-footer stands out, there's just a smoothness to Cunningham's game that has carried over from his All-American college season into the pros.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you're a fan and want to support our quality local journalism and subscribe, go to freep.com/special offer.